never stand behind a centaur. And Bruce is just like, why?
Because it's
and he
a
just
horse.
gets hit with horse's hooves.
No,
He gets sent flying,
no.
right? And at that point, our calls is just like, shame.
He's paralyzed. He's paralyzed. He's dead. He's gonna wake up like Stephen Hawkins. I don't care, but that helmet he's using is like plastic at this point. That's not like it for the vibranium. He's dead. Hey, chat. What do you say we go and react to Batman? The new chapter. Someone's made a video on it. Type yes to chat if you wanna go watch that. Oh. Oh wow! Whoa, so people are typing. That's so cool. I guess some people actually want to go watch it. Ace, yeah. Oh wow, eyes. That's actually. I figured this would be a better freaking intro because nowadays every reaction video on YouTube is just streamers reacting or playing their voice. So I thought it's better. People prefer it to like a whole ass intro. Now while we're here, Starbucks is my nice sound here. Welcome to Reacted House of That. Before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe to Comics Explained and also go read the actual Batman comic itself. It's chapter 16 or issue 16. Sorry, I'm a newbie scrub when it comes to comic terms. Okay, I'm more of a manga guy, but I'm going to react to more comic stuff. I will keep yapping, but no one cares. Let's just go watch the comic.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are back with Absolute Batman, and yet another team up with Absolute Wonder Woman. The last one happened in her comic. This one happens in his.
Sweet.
So what this does is it actually picks up over the course of a few days. We initially start off on Friday when Bruce Wayne is basically asleep, not really on the job site.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, he has a 9 to 5 quote unquote, but we haven't seen him doing it much in the comics. I mean, it would be very boring to see him do engineering.
Just kind of taking a bit of a nap. And the construction workers are busting his balls, as is to be expected on this kind of a job site. And one of the guys is like, wait, not big guy, what have you been doing with yourself? And that's one of the funny things here is because they're kind of doing cleanup duty in the aftermath of
this after the fight. Oh god, they had so much to clean up, bro.
Do you believe
they do not get paid enough for the time? They live in Gotham too. Like, they do not get paid.
Batman
I know Joker's bitch ass be taxing the fuck out of them.
Let's pour this concrete, right? 150 new units. Gotham needs it. And they're kind of asking a few...
to be fair, now I think about it, Gotham citizens really pay taxes. I imagine the reason why you live there is because the cost prices, right? So, who pays for the taxes or this kind of stuff? It's Joker. So technically, doing the property damage is actually hurting that Joker.
Questions, right?
Dumbass. So
who
go
was
my
that
goat.
Bane thing, right? It makes you wonder if Bats really is right about the things that are going on here in Gotham City. So it's an important statement because it means that the average person is beginning to consider the fact Batman's not just a crazy guy who is making stuff up. He is a crazy guy, but he's not making things up.
Oh, God, this is right after the news, right? When he was
telling the truth about what's happening in Arc M. It's not enough that it's like swaying public opinion, but it's got people talking, and that's kind of how that ball gets rolling.
And normally they only saw him getting his ass kicked by Black Mask. They didn't see him actually beating him. So I guess in public view, he's just a lunatic.
Where, again, they kind of continue on, and there's a bit of idle chat and so on and so forth. But then we end up meeting Lucius Fox. Now, Lucius Fox, as most of you guys know, is a long-standing Batman character. In this instance, instead of being the head of some major corporation, Wayne Enterprises, essentially, he's actually just the...
right, I'm stupid. Of course I know Fox. That he's in the Nolan movies, right? I didn't see him being black, so
he's the guy running the show here at the construction site, right? And he says, your absence, I gotta say, Bruce, it's good to have you back. And that's where Bruce just says, it won't happen again, Mr. Fox, but he says, I know you, which means I know you wouldn't have taken off unless something serious was going on. So as your friend, I just want to make sure, are you okay? And Bruce dismisses him.
Oh, yeah,
like, everything's fine. Right?
Yeah, I like that.
And so Lucius is like,
well, what is he gonna help him? The freaking sledgehammer? I don't think it's gonna provide the actual suits in this one. The most guys I have
do something for me this weekend, right?
I don't think he's building a Batmobile.
He just says, get out there, right? Touch some grass, ride a horse, get in the fight. Just do something, man, besides coming here and working all the time.
Well, so
at that point, you switch over to Gotham Press.
Yeah, we gotta see they are so dead. They were happy watching the Batman was Bane fight, but I thought they got to zoom in after what Bane did to them. I mean,
and this is when we actually start to see a follow-up from a lot of the things that had happened with Absolute Bane, namely Oswald Cobblepot and Harvey Dent. Because when Bruce shows up, he just said, when I brought subs, your usual, right, double steak for you, Harv, and for Oz, the bird supreme. And that's where Harvey just tells him, right? I mean, that's really thoughtful of you, except keep in mind, Oswald cannot eat solid foods yet. And so Bruce kind of forgot.
Did he always have white hair? Why is his hair white now? Is it because he's like stressed out? That's why he has white hair now? I didn't know that. I didn't notice if he had it in
really
the last
thoughtful of
hospital
you,
chapter.
except keep in mind, Oswald cannot eat solid foods yet. And so Bruce kind of forgot about this momentarily. And that's where you find out Oswald is very angry at everything that had happened. Absolute Bane literally crumpled him up like a piece of paper, broke every single bone in his body. So now he's...
I think the only time Penguin actually embraces his look, and like he knows he's ugly, but he's confident with it, is in the Batman show, in the 2004 one. That show is so golden. That was so
kind of
cool.
This crushed, shrunken down human being, as opposed to the person that we knew before. And there's a lot of anger and wrath here, because he says,
I know that's crazy, but he doesn't look that bad. He looks cool.
That crappy dough before she took off. And that's where Harvey just says, there's a true friend. Did she leave you anything, Bruce? Your usual, a broken heart on a roll. And he just says, I didn't come here to fight. And that's when Oswald starts laying into him, right? Well, then why did you come here,
because
Bruce?
they are the anti-villains, yes! Make him suffer. Make him go through more pain. My God, Darkseid is cooking.
Everyone looks at me, Harvey and Ed and everybody, and they think we're monsters. But you chose this. And now you can't even look at us, can you? You can't look at us all.
You're not the worst thing he's seen. He saw way worse, crazier stuff in Arkham. He saw literal man-bats.
Kind of looks down.
All like
and that's
begging him to
Oswald
kill
said.
him.
That's what I thought. Right, you're real good at saving the city. How about next time you try saving one of your friends for a change? And so when
he
Bruce
definitely has a concussion.
away, Harvey tells him, right, like, what?
No shit, nice thought. I don't think that's the only thing he's got.
Right? You are not him. You are not a hero at all. And that's where Harvey's just kind of like, that's pretty harsh, Oz. And where Oz just kind of like grunts a little bit. Harvey's like, no, man. I mean, he deserved it 100%. Because lest we forget, right? Whether it was Bruce Wayne's intention or not, the reality here is that he put his...
God, in mainline, Batman, he's always so guilty about Harvey. Like, he always feels the worst about Harvey. Here he must be freaking crushed. Because I think out of everyone in Crime Alley in this comic, in Absolute Universe, Harvey was by far like was the most solid. Harvey was again doing the most solid. And this happens.
Going to war with Bane. And it's one of the things that Alfred told him. Be very careful about what you're doing. Bane seemingly has nothing to lose. At least nothing that you know of. But you have everything. You've got friends. You've got what remains of your family. People he can go after. And where Bruce Wayne was being
how big do you think Bane's dick gets when he...
Right, living in the moment and not really thinking about the consequences.
Being human is like, it is full tighter for him. His tree is probably as big as Batman in this.
His actions, or if he was, thinking the consequences wouldn't be that extreme. It turns out they were. Right, they were about as extreme as it gets. And so what he ends up doing is going to the Gotham Museum of Natural History, kind of walking through and looking at a few things, and then he takes out that amulet that was given to him by Absolute Wonder Woman. And he says, I demand an audience with Diana of the Wild Isle. And that's where she appears here. Right?
She's so attractive, but like one moment is so
since
cool.
The talisman will only work 3 times. I can assume you are summoning me for something dire. And this is really interesting here. And I love the way that Scott...
Yeah, alright, okay, so it's right after the last one.
Snyder handles this. Batman says, I have a friend who has changed, mutated into something half human, half animal, and he's getting worse. Your myths are full...
Does she have the opposite of polymerization? How is she supposed to help?
Of beings who go from human to beast and beast to human. I was hoping something here, I'm not caught up on Absolute One. Sorry for pausing so much. I'm not caught up on Absolute Wonder Woman. So if you want to see me react to that too, you know what to do. Subscribe, please. And she just says, my lasso, sacrifice, is the only tool I know that can do transmogrification at that scale. But for a chaotic mind, it would be disaster. And so she says, I'm afraid there is nothing to cure your friend anywhere on this plane. That's an important statement because she says, I do know of one artifact
we're going to hell, right? That's when the title he says go to hell in that photo. I would go back, but I'm not going to
travel at least. And so in turn, Bruce just says, I have a job, right? And that's what she tells us.
Let's go to hell.
Time moves differently there. But
actually, Gotham is actually hell. Like, where Diana I've read in like 4 to 5 issues of Absolute Wonder Woman. Like, hell isn't that bad. I mean, granted, it's because Diana, she would cook anyone there. But still, hell is okay. But compared to what Batman goes in Absolute Gotham.
The danger of this is pretty intense. But Bruce is pretty desperate.
That was his name.
And in fact, he basically admits that. He says, if there's something there to help Waylon, I want to go now. And she just says, as you wish. And so in turn, she casts a spell, right? Accept this blood of sacrifice of Diana of the Wild Isle, daughter of Circe, and ultimately ends up opening a portal
God, I can't wait for animations of Absolute Universe.
And that's kind of the crazy thing, because now Bruce Wayne is in uncharted territory. And lest we forget, Absolute Batman is nothing like Batman from the
bridge between the surface world and the underworld. Beneath my mother's eyes and oh yeah, because she can't go back to hell anymore. She was vanished. The being we seek to charge Achilles, his name is familiar. He guards a bridge very far from here. Let's begin.
DC universe.
How you flying horse? Yeah, take us
immediately and be able to just kind of navigate it accordingly. Absolute Batman is not nearly on that level. We do know he would beat the tar out of Batman from the main DC universe, but in terms of his mental acuity, not quite there. And so when they enter here, he asks the question, is this Hades? Right? Is it basically hell? And she says no. Right? This is a place that exists between the surface world and the underworld, beneath my mother's island, where the veil between realms is thin. The being we seek to challenge, Arcalis, he guards a bridge very far from here. So let's get going.
Arcalis or Arcalis?
And he asks, what about your flying horse? Right? What about Pegasus?
Yeah, Pegasus.
She makes a good point. If we were to fly through here on a horse, it would make us very easy targets. And she says, even then, Pegasus isn't really a big fan of you, Batman. In fact, no one likes you, Batman.
Really? In this realm? Because I know her mom was like debating if he's a god or not. So, really? I thought people love Batman here.
But no one likes you at all.
Wow.
And so
as if no one likes Diana either, so they're just bitches.
And so as they're going through this, it takes like 12 days,
song,
2
it
weeks.
will kill you. What? How are you not supposed to listen to its song? Like, cover your ears?
To navigate this whole place. But Wonder Woman kind of warns him of all these things along the way, right? If you look at the lightning, it will kill you. If you listen to the song of that bird, it will kill you. If you stumble, the sands will kill you. If you tell me that One Piece is better than Dragon Ball Z one more time, I will kill you, right? It's just...
That's what? Come on, Dragon Ball watches that far with Joe.
Kind of over and over and over again. But in all seriousness, it's an exceedingly dangerous place, right?
Yeah.
Everything here kind of goes after you. And so at that point, on day 11, he sees a Cyclops. And he's like, is that really a Cyclops? And Wonder Woman says, yes, right? If you look it in the eye. And he just says, he'll kill me? And she says, no, right? It's just impolite. Right? Why would he kill you?
What the fuck? Okay, who says it kills him? Then one time he said he's in power recognition. No, it's just impolite. Makes sense. Also, Cyclops are terrible mentor.
Day 12, they're like, let's keep going. At the end of day 12, they set up camp, right? And she says it's best to make camp before the bloodworms wake up. Batman ends up making a fire. The two of them kind of sit there for a little while. And then they kind of have this conversation. By the time he gets to day 13, day 14, day 16, they're kind of learning about each other in a way that they hadn't necessarily learned about before, right? Batman is learning that...
Wait, what? When is that? Oh, he's talking about when his dad died, right?
The two of them kind of sit there for a little while, and then they kind of have this conversation. By the time he gets to day 13, day 14, day 16, they're kind of learning about each other in a way that they hadn't necessarily learned about before, right? Batman is learning that Absolute Wonder Woman comes from like the actual realm of hell. She says, my mother always made certain it was also a home. Batman tells her about his story, and he says, the next thing I remember, policemen were yelling my name, pulling the bats off of me. She says, no child should lose their father that way. I'm truly sorry, Bruce. It's a cool connective moment.
Does that mean childs have a way to actually lose their father? Like, is there like a preferable way to lose your dad? I don't think there is. Oh dear, call me, I'm Dante. The way my dumbass is pausing the video constantly. I've been recording for 40 minutes and we're only 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop pausing.
I'm actually kind of surprised that we're getting an Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman crossover before a Wonder Woman Superman crossover or Superman and Batman crossover. Just because Superman Wonder Woman was one of the best comics to come out of the New 52. But the other thing this does is it kind of makes me want a Batman Absolute Wonder Woman team-up book. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I feel like it would be pretty dope. I feel like any kind of team-up book from the Absolute Universe you guys would love. Wouldn't really matter what it was. But that's where they get to the actual place that they are going to. And Bruce asks, right, who is this man that's just kind of laying out here with coins on his eyes? And she says, a king who died fighting Arcalis. And he asks, and the coins? And she says, payment for the ferryman, right, to buy passage to Elysium, where fallen heroes dwell. And he asked the question, heroes, right, this guy lost. And Wonder Woman just says, apparently, his people loved him. They must have made this tribute. And so he says, the coins, do they really give people passage? And so it demonstrates to Wonder Woman the fact that Batman doesn't necessarily believe in any of that stuff, which you can't really put it past him, right? Because the reality here is that in the absolute universe, we're talking about a far more grounded version of the DC universe, as if the DC universe isn't grounded enough. And so when you have someone like Batman who's experienced...
I might say DC as well. I think Marvel is more grounded than DC. I mean, I think Absolute Batman is way more grounded.
Seeing all this for the very first time, as opposed to the main DC Universe version, who would just kind of take it all in and wouldn't be overly dismissive and just simply say, if I'm seeing it, it must be real. Absolute Batman kind of sees it and is like, this is all seemingly a bunch of malarkey. Now, he's not overly dismissive about it. It's just the attitude Wonder Woman seems to
he is
get
always
here.
pragmatic.
That's why she says.
Even in the animated. So I keep pausing an animated show and there's a scene where he's like, magic is not real. So I suggest sometimes you go around the streets instead of flying above them. Like he said that to Justice. So he is a pragmatic.
Still others that they serve as a dream bridge, offering visions. But whatever the case happens to be, we have arrived. Our Arcalis guards that bridge there. Tonight, we'll camp. Tomorrow, we fight. And so at that point, while a little over 2 weeks has passed in this dimension, only like a day or so
just because 2 o'clock is not going to be here. I thought he was
so you end up picking up with Alfred Pennyworth, right? Who's just like taking this great big huge box of like entrails, you know, over to Killer Croc. And this is hilarious because Alfred's just like, it's not that heavy, he says. Sure, if you're 21 years old and built like a brick, right? But in the midst of that, Killer Croc shows up and he was like, yes, meat. As any reasonable human being would say in response to a steak. And so at that point, Alfred's just like, yes, meat in the trolley. And Waylon just keeps saying meat. And Alfred's just like, over there, man, not me. I'm just bones, right? Over there. Don't you eat me.
Is he gonna?
Just like Waylon growls at him. A part of me wants to believe that Waylon was just trolling the hell out of Alfred Pennyworth.
I hope so, because that's so sad.
Just kind of convinced Alfred that he was. I don't know why, but that exchange
are they gonna actually cure Waylon? I don't think I'm predicting he's not gonna come back. I feel like Absolute Batman has to suffer more than Spider-Man ever has in his own comics. I don't think he's gonna come back.
To me, it's absolutely hilarious. But jumping back over to
maybe I think what they gotta do is like stable his mind. But I don't think he's gonna get his body back because Killer Croc in like the main line is actually like he's sane. He knows what he's at least in most runs. He is sane. He can like talk. He wants to be a security guard at some point. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna get his full body back.
That Wonder Woman tells him, Arcalis is more than a centaur. He is a lord of transformation. His bow makes 2 legs into 4 and 4 into 2. The land he guards is full of beings he has changed. But Bruce doesn't really seem to be paying attention here because she kind of calls his name and he just says, I'm sorry. It's just first monsters under Gotham, then the thumb drive that you gave me, aliens, gods, and now this place. Because one of the things to keep in mind here is that Bruce has gotten a lot of information given to him through the thumb drive from Absolute Wonder Woman. So as soon as he got it,
so
he had learned for the first time,
time
seemingly, about Absolute Superman, the Green Lanterns, all that kind of stuff. This is all new to him. And again, it's one of the big differences and one of the
she's so pretty in this
differences between Absolute Batman and Batman in the main DC universe.
Wait, when I say something, we don't be boring if I just shut up. I don't want to do lazy content.
For the first time. In all reality, he's reacting the way you or I would to this kind of thing. What do you believe and what do you reject? Right? How much do you really trust your eyes in this world that you're being introduced to for the very first time? Where within the span of a few weeks, your friends have either been more or less mutilated in a way that you couldn't possibly imagine. One of them has been turned into half of a crocodile. You fought a man who grew to probably about 50 feet tall, ultimately defeating him, all the while knowing there's just some kind of beyond human Joker that exists out there. And now you're learning about Absolute Wonder Woman, hell exists, the entire Greek pantheon is real. I mean, all this is being thrown at you in like the blink of an eye, right? It's a lot to take in. And so what ends up happening is she tells him, I understand, right? Your world is new and strange to me. So here, and she offers him something. Initially he's like, you know, what is it? And she says, it will protect you, not against injury or death, but at least against Arcalis' magic. And he asks her, right, do you really think I can do this? Help my friend. And she just says, everything you need lies inside of you. Drink. Now sleep. And ultimately he does. Right? But she puts a couple coins over his eyes, which give him passage to the afterlife. And he meets his father. And this is one of the most beautiful moments.
I know. Oh God, I was thirsty at the wrong time.
That I think I've ever seen. Right? It's phenomenal. I don't even know if I would compare it to the moment when Bruce Wayne
oh yeah, this is kind of horrible.
met his
Then
father from the
Strange
Flashpoint universe
made
in
Peter
the
meet
button. As
Uncle Ben.
beautiful as
It's
that
like
moment
that.
was, right? As incredible as that moment was, right? We rise! And like
Yeah,
Thomas
just,
Wayne
like,
goes
stop.
running to confront Dr. Manhattan. You guys remember that? It was amazing. It was,
Oh, yeah,
God, it was so phenomenal.
Okay, look, I don't like this version of. I don't know, but whenever they adapt Batman's dad, it just sort of is a hit or miss. I think the Batman in the movie, they did the best job. It's like he kind of should be a Boy Scout, cause the Rays have always been like the only saving race of Gotham. So like when you kind of make him this dark and edgy, I don't know, it's like very New 52. I don't really like it
personally.
personally.
This is far more touching than that, I think. It's an
Ooh, okay,
incredible
relax.
moment.
Stop it in
Because
this
he
like
appears
please
to
don't
his
just say
father,
anything.
not as Bruce Wayne, right? As Batman, I know him, but a child, right? And he's
my video lagged for a second.
on your mind. And Bruce just says, it's just, you are a hero, Dad. That day at the zoo, you saved us. Me, Ozzy, Waylon, all of us. But me, I'm trying, but I just keep hurting everyone that I care about. And that's where his father says, this might come as a surprise, but I don't think of what I did that day at the zoo as saving you. And Bruce is just kind of like, why? Right? And he says, because for me...
Hold on, is this like actually his dad, or is this like in his mind? Like, I'm gonna say it's the spirit of his dad, because Diana made that happen. I'm gonna go with that hit canon.
Saving you was what I did every day before that one. Teaching, being your dad. And Bruce just says, I don't understand. And his dad tells him, you're an engineer, Bruce. You know that building things is not about anyone ribbon cutting. It's the commitment to making the city better, visualizing what could be, and working every day to make it possible, little by little. Even in those moments, it seems out of reach, especially in those moments. So get out there and build. And Bruce just says, I really miss you, Dad. And so in that moment, he wakes up. And it's amazing. Such an incredible moment in this story, man. It amazes me that even after all these years, man, Scott Snyder still got it, bro. That guy still got it. And so when he initially goes to talk to Diana, she just says, I'm sorry, Bruce, it's time. Get ready. And so he kind of looks at her. And then that's kind of his recollection and his realization. What he was experiencing was real, which means...
Hold on, wait. I think I noticed something. Sorry. Bruce has the same coins on him. Yeah.
You put a couple coins over his eyes.
I saw it. I'm not smart enough to understand the connection. Maybe he was like, he did this in his last moment, right? So maybe it's like he was trying to talk to the spirit of people he saved.
And then that's kind of his recollection and his realization. What he was experiencing was real. Which means what she's been telling him about traveling to the afterlife by way of coins, that's real as well. And so what he says, right? He says, the artifact that we need. And Wonder Woman says, I can help you in the fight, but it must be
given... She yells at me like that, I'm crawling on all fours. Let me tell you now.
When you best him. And so at that point, she calls him out. And Arcala shows up.
He looks
this
strong.
Dude looks like a menace.
I don't think,
he looks absolutely amazing.
An axe is not enough for that, bro.
One of the coolest designs I've ever seen, right? But he says, Diana of the Amazons, daughter of Circe, who, though gifted with powers of transformation like myself, is too good to consort with us lowly beings down here. What divine joy I shall take in felling you and your mortal mate. And
you see, like, trying to spit game, what's going on?
they're like, we're not together.
I was on me. Why are you dead up together?
And they say it at the exact same time, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, kind of makes me hope that Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman kind of end up becoming a thing. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
I honestly think this one works way better than the mainline version. This one actually works because they have so much in common. Like, the Warriors out there have been just so much better.
I think it'd be dope to see him as a couple. The two of them just start tearing into this guy. And it's kind of cool because in that moment, Bruce
I'm not gonna what the fuck? He actually hit him. I know he's like a dude. Yeah, tries to do this. Oh my god, but he always does this well. In the Absolute Bane fight, he's a genius at violence.
Cool, because in that moment, Bruce manages to like land some pretty solid hits and then hit this guy with his axe. But that's where, when he falls down, Wonder Woman says, "Never stand behind a centaur." And Bruce is just like, "Why?"
Because it's
a
horse.
Hit with hooves, right? And at that point, Arcala's just like, shame.
He's paralyzed. He's paralyzed. He's dead. He's gonna wake up like Stephen Hawkins. I don't care, but that helmet he's using is like plastic at this point. That smells like it for the vibranium. He's dead. He's gonna wake up with some sort of speech impediment or some impediment or something, bro. He's dead. My god, it's GG's. It's
I
GG's.
admit he had a warrior's heart because he just kind of goes flying off, right, this building,
I
and
tried to
seemingly
fit in
down
more
into
to see which
the
one
ether,
matches that
wherever
moment,
that
and
may
this is the
lead,
only
most
one that
likely
matches
down
it.
into
But now
hell.
I have
But
to
then in
yap, so it
that
doesn't
moment,
work.
Wonder
This
Woman
is gonna
sees
have a-
Pegasus, and she just says, Godspeed, my friend. And Arcalis, right,
Pegasus.
just not really knowing what's going on here,
Wait,
simply
what?
says he might have made
not
a
figured
fine
he's dead?
centaur, perhaps a bat centaur for my stable. But in that moment, Pegasus comes flying back out of the clouds, and
Let's
Batman's
go!
riding.
Oh
and I don't know
my
why, man, but
God,
this
that
is
looks
dope. And he just says,
sick.
I got your bat centaur right
Wow.
here. And at that moment, Arcalis says, all right, Amazon.
That
from two
centaur, of
legs.
course, gonna
And at
make
that
it not
point,
bad. Whoa, that's awesome.
I
God, the
got your
art
bat
is so
centaur
good
right here.
too.
And at that moment,
Serious, that looks. This is better when he's sitting on Valen. Nah, the killer clock one is better, but this is really
Arcalis says,
good
all right,
too.
Amazon, from two
Ah,
legs. And
more
at
what
that
happened
point,
Wonder
Batman
Woman
says,
is bad.
Wonder Woman,
But-
look
Yeah,
out.
and
And he says,
I-
for
Pegasus.
Diana, and fires the shot. And Batman immediately
How is he
jumps in the
speaking?
way of it,
Why?
and he gets hit. Now,
Why?
of course, Arcalis gets pissed, right? You know, insolent. And in that
Hold on.
moment,
I feel like that's like repaying. Didn't Wonder Woman do the same in the collab? She kind of like took a hit for that.
Wonder Woman attacks him and says, you are right. My mother is master of transformation.
Oh, she's
but
gonna
so
kill him.
am I.
Yeah,
Watch
let's go.
closely as I transform your face.
Ooh, damn.
And just like clocks this guy, sends his teeth
Lucky
flying, and knocks him out
bastard.
in one punch. And at that point, she goes
God.
running to Bruce,
What
but he says,
moment?
I failed him. I
What
couldn't,
moment?
right? The artifact.
So you know, I
and
failed him. I couldn't.
Wonder Woman just snaps the thing off, and she
still.
says, you've not
Ow.
failed, Bruce. Remember what I
Why didn't you take
told
it
you.
off?
Now, let's get you home. And he just says,
No,
not
not
yet,
yet.
right? I haven't had the chance to say goodbye. And his father says goodbye to him. So again, incredibly touching, right? Just
That's
an
so
amazing
sad.
moment in this story.
Cool,
and so you
that's
pick up on
mad.
Sunday,
That's
right?
joking.
Because
God, look at this. What? The way he's
really
being carried,
touching,
though,
right? Just
he's
an amazing moment in
This
this
is
story.
so
And so you
strong.
pick up on Sunday, right? Because only a couple days have passed here in the
what a
world.
villain.
Well, about 2.5, give or take a little bit. The alarm goes off, and he's just sitting there with the arrow sticking out of his chest. And that's when he just thinks to himself, right? Remember, what did she say?
Oh, the
And
arrow!
what Wonder
That's
Woman
how you can
says,
save
everything
him.
you need lies inside of you. And so in that moment, he pulls out the arrow and then just kind of recites
Does that mean you lie inside me?
himself what it is
Sorry,
Arcalis
what
says.
the fuck?
Turn two
Relax,
legs
who said
into
that?
four,
Cut it
and
out, bro. Cut it
four
out.
into 2. The artifact.
legs
He
into
had it in him
four,
the
and four into
entire
2?
time. And so at that point, he ends up traveling back to work on Monday, right? He's got a
What?
busted up
What
arm.
about
and
him?
people are just like, man, what the hell did you do to your arm? And he was like, oh, I was just following your advice.
This man gotta be speaking like
Mr. Fox, right? Took some grass, rode a horse. got
Watch
into
this
a
like a
fight,
watermelon,
and Fox
bro.
was like,
I'm
"What
not
I mean is
him.
this-
A normal horse kicking you would destroy you entirely.
No,
And he
it's
got
cool.
it from
I'm
like
just
a
messing with you.
guy.
I slipped in the shower. He's like, we have to go start building things.
How
But
did you
what he did
slip
with the
that bad?
artifact
That's a good
is he
excuse.
attached it to the wall down in the cave, right down in the sewers,
What?
where
Is
Waylon
he even-
Jones is. And he says, Way, wear this necklace. Let it touch your skin.
Can you even
You
read?
are never alone. Because seemingly it would turn him back into either a human form, or at the very
E-minus.
least, he would look like a human
Sorry, I'm
with a
stupid.
reptilian form. So the traditional Killer Croc, as we know him in DC Comics. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this to an end. Yet another stellar comic from the
That was
absolute
awesome.
Batman.
Thank you so much for the review. Comic Explain. Again, go and watch this video if you want. If you don't want to hear me yap constantly. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't wait reply back to it. Reply back to it. I forgot my own outro. Appreciate the much nice sound. Yeah, there it is. Till next time. Lighting out.